Scott and Brock. Normally teams get an advantage after their bye week, right? Coming better rested than their opponents, but that's not the case here. Both of these teams had last week off, so a level playing field today.
Yeah, if there's an edge to be had, it's in who made better use of their time away from the Sunday spotlight. How did each team recover, but also keep themselves sharp in their week away? And who had better preparation? We know that's where the separation will come from.
Here's Harrison Mevis to get this one started. And we're off from MetLife. Return coming from the 6. And in the end, he's able to get it to what used to be a touchback. It's at the 25 after the return. So here come the Buccaneers, ready for their opening drive. They're led out by the 7th-year pro, comeback player of the year contender last season in Baker Mayfield.
As you take the field coming off of a real late season bye, you just want to maximize what last week was all about. Making sure that physically, mentally, emotionally, you're recharged so you can go attack the final stretch of this season.
Baker now off the play fake. Catch made by Bucky Irving. And defenders are there to get him at the line. Micah McFadden able to make... They come to the line here. This is 3rd and 6. Baker now from the gun. Down he goes. The Giants got to him. And the defense comes through. That's going to back him up and bring up 4th down.
Every defense in this league is going to sign up for a 3-and-out to begin a ball game. But to send him off the field, to really add that extra tone setter by backing him up with a sack, well, that's the cherry on top of that 3-and-out.
Here's Riley Dixon on now for the punt on 4th down. And he'll punt it away to end a disappointing opening drive. Takes it in at the 26. And before that return amounts to much, they bring him down. So the Giants out and getting set for their first drive. Leading them out, a man in his 13th NFL season and rising quickly up the career leaderboards, Russell Wilson.
And he doesn't have the advantage he usually does coming off a bye week. Both these teams came in here well-rested after a Sunday away. Of course, that means an extra week of prep work for this defense, too. So he's got his work cut out for him to find ways to attack them today.
Wilson airing it out to start. Gets this to Johnson. And he'll get it up to the 44. They'll move the chains after that pickup of 12. On the 44-yard line now, 1st and 10. Staying between the tackles with Tracy. Past midfield to the 45. And finally stopped at the 34. They get 22 on that one. And it's good enough for a New York first down. Out of the gun, they'll give it to him inside. And he has it down officially to the red zone at the 20. They'll get 14 yards and a new set of downs.
Offensive coordinators tell us all the time, big runs only happen with coordinated efforts. Great block in the spring of guys hitting blocks downfield and a back who can show off his wheels.
A give to Tracy up the middle. And he's only going to get 2 or 3 yards on that one.
Okay, that's a run that's ho-hum on the stat sheet, but if you see a bigger play on the ground later on, it'll largely be because of a play just like that one, softening up the front and opening the door for a bigger gap in the future.
The left side finds Johnson. And they'll get this down nearly to the end zone. Instead, stuffed at the 2. That one goes for 15, and now they're going to have first and goal.
I think my favorite part was the magic he worked after the catch. The way he took the completion and made so much more out of it by adding all the extra yardage.
They've set themselves up well for an opening drive touchdown here, Brock. It's first and goal. Tracy will not get past the line. He's held up at the 4.
They say about great outfielders in baseball, there's just something to them. They've got a knack, a feel, an instinct to take the right line, the right angle. For safeties to create tackles for loss in the run game, it's the exact same attribute and skill set. Got to take that right angle and then go finish that runner.
The Buccaneers get there and bring him down. And they're headed in reverse after that sack.
Bend. Even good defenses, great defenses in this league, Kate, they're going to bend at times, but you never want to break. And when you get a sack in the red zone, well, that goes a long ways to helping your efforts.
And they get to him again. And that sack going to cost them some yardage.
That is a wow. Maybe that's a double wow for me. 2 sacks in the previous 3 snaps. I can really criticize quarterbacks, and too often I do, to get rid of the football, but that is about a defensive effort. Knowing what's on the line when you get into situations in the red zone, Kate, can't do it much better than that.
So here's Harrison Mevis, ready for the field goal try. From the left hash, this would be 43 yards. Mevis able to knock it through. And that one's going to get them on the scoreboard.
You'd expect him to make most of those attempts from this distance, but it's never a lock. So they'll happily take this and finish off the drive with points.
Mevis ready to send this one away. Kickoff taken at the 3. Finds some space. He's past the 30. His return reaches that 34-yard line before he stopped. They'll get this drive started. First and 10. So the Buccaneer offense getting out there for their second drive. And coming off our first points of the ballgame, they're going to take over now trailing 3-zip.
That's what you call efficiency. Exactly what you're looking for on first down. Textbook. It sets up second and very manageable, and it creates that space if you want to take a shot downfield.
That's to his back. Here's Rashad White. And they push this down to the opposing 47-yard line. Offense set for a first and 10. Shotgun handoff to Irving. And that tackle stops him after a solid gain. Halfway there on first down. That brings up second and 5. Mayfield now from the gun. Toward the sideline, and he's got it. They get 18 yards out of it and a new set of downs.
They've run this 12-yard out route, Kate, at the combine, well, all the way back to last century when I had to throw it. In this throw, this is a big boy throw. This is a differentiator. Can you make that deep out throw on time, on rhythm, and accurately? Well, that was teaching tape right there.
First down, here's Baker. And he just hucks this one away. Wasn't going to risk a throw or force something. It brings up second down. Finds Aguilar. And that will not be enough for a first down. All plays on the table here for 3rd and 3. Irving here from the gun. And he's dropped just short of the marker, maybe a yard away.
Hey, we know running the ball in the NFL is hard, and that play pretty indicative of it. Here's the key, though. At the end of the game, those type of plays got to be in the minority, and the majority have got to do some damage.
Less than a yard needed here on 4th. Here we go. It's Mayfield. And all their pressure gets it done. That's a sack on 4th down as they force the turnover.
Well, this one never had a chance. Between the pressure right there in his face and the coverage downfield, quarterback still should have at least thrown it up there and given somebody an opportunity to make a play.
The Giants taking the field for their second possession. And their last drive did end in points. Not as many as they wanted, though. They had to settle for that field goal despite advancing the football pretty well. From the gun, it's Tracy. And he won't salvage that. It's a loss on the play.
Well, he was supposed to be the one who chipped away a few and got a new set of downs started right in rhythm. Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line thanks to a great effort defensively.
From the gun, it's Wilson. Splits a couple of defenders and completes it. And it's a nice game, but still not enough for the first.
Well, that right there, Kate, that is the epitome of trust. And trust in your big physical tight end. Throwing his way into double coverage. You may question the decision when the ball leaves his hands, but it's tough to question when it produces results like that.
Wilson on 3rd down. Into the hands of Neighbors. And he's going to go down right along the midfield stripe. That'll go for an 18-yard gain. And the Giants will have a first down. Shotgun snap for Wilson. Catch made, Tyrone Tracy. And they get there to take him down right around the 41.
I call this quarterback's best friend. Some call it a safety valve, some call it automatic, but it's sure nice as a quarterback when you got a trusty running back over the middle of the field that you can depend on.
He'll drive it forward, but won't get beyond the line. Levante David, like so many times in his career, making that tackle. The Giants using their first time out. They'll have 2 left to work with before halftime. The Buccaneers add another DB. 3rd down coming up. Russ now from the gun. He has the first over the middle. And he's going to take this across. Touchdown, New York. The Giants grow their lead just before halftime. So sensational work by the skill man there, Brock. Anytime you can make your quarterback look that good, you know he appreciates it.
That's a quarterback's best friend, no question. But on the other side, gosh, defensively, you got to get that skill player down. Period, end of story. You can't give up that much yards after catch.
Harrison Mevis on to try the point after. Extra point sent right down the middle. And the Giants make it a 10-point ball game. Mevis ready to send this one away. His return starts at the 5. The tackle's made, so this drive will begin at the 34-yard line. The Bucs offense taking over late in the half. They could use something to trim that deficit, and enough time left to maybe get this near field goal range. Here's 1st and 10 from the 34. From the gun, Mayfield. On target to Godwin. And he's able to reach the 40 on that play. Timeout taken by the Buccaneers. They're first. They'll have 2 left to work with before halftime. New slated downs to approach here from the 40. Mayfield on 1st and 10. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact. Working across the middle, Brock, it is tough for anybody to make plays through all that mess, even when you're the biggest and baddest pass catcher on the roster.
But as a tight end, you're going to be disappointed because that's what you're paid to do. It's one thing for those undersized receivers you talked about. It's another one for these big tight ends. You are paid to make that catch through contact, and you couldn't do it.
3rd down. Here's Mayfield. Complete beyond the marker. And they catch up to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a first down. Baker throwing again. The throw is caught. And he'll get this inside the 10 to the 9. Before we can get a snap on second down, they call timeout. And that's all they've got for what little remains of this half.
Every once in a while, it's fine to be conservative on first down, especially when you get enough to stay on schedule and get a little something coming out of it, too.
Mayfield to throw again. And he rips this one out and over the back of the end zone, incomplete.
Just something off in the rhythm of their passing game on that one. Time to recalibrate and keep throwing it to get back into rhythm.
Third and short, Mayfield. Intercepted in the end zone. Picked off by Deontay Banks.
Well, that's it right there. That's the resilience and the mental toughness that every coach wants to see from his defense. Not a great spot for him. Backed up close enough that they're going to get shots taken in the end zone. But instead of collapsing under pressure, they rose up and they created the takeaway.
And he'll scurry forward for a pickup of 3. That's going to bring us to the end of this first half of football with the Giants holding things down in East Rutherford. Now we'll send you down the East Coast to our studios in Orlando. Jonathan Coachman and the EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Kate, we'll get back to you and Brock in a bit. For now, plenty of early action in the 1 o'clock Eastern window to get you caught up on. So let's get to it. We'll begin out in the Windy City of Chicago. And it's the Vikings who are out in front. The rookie from Michigan, J.J. McCarthy, a touchdown pass. In the first half, we saw a strong performance out of the veteran quarterback, Russell Wilson. He's got a touchdown pass on the ledger as his guys were able to build a double-digit lead. These two teams heading out of the tunnel, and we're ready to get back to it. For the call of the second half, here is the great Kate T. Scott. Kate?
As always, a hat tip to Coach for his hard work during the break, as we're happy to welcome y'all back to the start of our third quarter. Here's a return from the 7. And this return gets to the 30 before he stopped. So to begin the third quarter, the New York offense returning to the field. And they really leaned on that passing game in the first half, Brock. Let's see if that emphasis continues to start the third. And they send a man in motion. First down, here's Russ. He finds Johnson. And he'll get it up near the 38-yard line before going down.
That is the epitome of staying on schedule. That kind of completion right there on first down. Well, it opens up the entirety of the playbook for second down. And the third and short in your back pocket, you can get even more aggressive and take that shot.
They get 6 and a first down as well. Wilson now from the gun. Neighbors with the catch. And he's going to be drugged down, looks like at that 37-yard line. It's a gain of 19 on the play. And it's good enough for a New York first down.
I love throwing on first down. And when you see a first down pass just like that, it's taking advantage of a matchup you plan for, and you go out and execute.
Now Wilson on the play fake. He had it for a moment, but a great defensive play to jar it loose. Incomplete.
Defender's not going to be thrilled the catch was almost made on his watch, but more importantly, he breaks it up. Gives him a chance to do a little jawing after the play. Lets the other guy know he roughed him up and cost him that catch.
He's forward, gets a couple of yards. Levante David, like so many times in his career, making that tackle. Throwing on third, Wilson. Forced out to his right. He'll make a bid for it on the ground. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets him up with 1st and goal.
As long as these are the results he's getting, they're going to be just fine with him calling his own number. He does such a good job of seeing the field and knowing when it's his time to take it himself.
Big play got him to the doorstep, Brock. 4 more yards now, in goal to go. First down from the red zone. And he has the catch, gets both feet in, that's a touchdown! The Giants grow the lead coming out of halftime. Well, Brock, you know this better than most. Sometimes these dudes can be a quarterback's best friend, finding the tight end in the end zone for 6.
And it really has been that way for decades when you think about it, Kate. From John Mackey to Tony Gonzalez to Travis Kelce. The position can be such a mismatch when you're throwing for the end zone.
Mevis now for the extra point. The point after splits the uprights. And the Giants take a 3-possession lead. Mevis ready to send this one away. That's going to be taken in at the 8. And a decent return ends as they bring him down inside the 30. Now the Buccaneers set to take the field. And things starting to get a little out of hand for him, Brock. That last score made it 17-zip. 1st and 10. Here's Mayfield. He completes it in traffic. And that's good for a gain of 5. Bobby Okereke making that stop. Back to the line they go. It's 2nd down. Irving on the inside give. And they'll make the stop up at the 46-yard line. That's an 11-yard pickup, and it gives them the 1st down. New set of downs for him from the 46. Give for the first time to Rashad White. And he drives this across midfield and down into enemy territory. Call it 7 yards, and now they'll have 2nd down and 3. Here's the option give to White. And he'll pick up enough to move the chains.
You know, Kate, if you notice those guys that love to feed themselves on the field, right? They love to just get more and more. They're hungry for even more. I'll tell you what, that tackle, it prevented something that's going to be a lot bigger, but that back remains hungry.
And he's stopped at the 31-yard line. After a good pickup, they're set up with 2nd and short. Straight ahead, it's Irving. And they've got him behind the line for a big loss.
Kate, it's amazing how fast these guys are on the field and how fast your fortunes can turn. 2nd and short run, you're feeling good about yourself. But with a negative play, well, now comes a critical 3rd down.
Baker now from the gun. Finds his man. It's Godwin. And he's down inside the red zone before hitting the deck. This is the end of the 3rd quarter. It's not quite over yet, but it'd take a pretty miraculous comeback. We've got a 3-score game as we get set to start the 4th quarter. They'll come up 1st and 10. Motioning the tight end left. 1st down, here's Baker. Completed over the middle. And he's able to get this down to the 13. 2nd and 3 now. Mayfield now from the gun. And he hauls it in for the Tampa touchdown. The Buccaneers get it back to within 2 possessions. Loud McConkey with a touchdown. Well, they definitely wanted to get that one out quick, Brock. They did just that, and it ends in 6.
We hear it all the time, but it is so true, Kate. This is a game about matchups. And when you see a throw that quick, It really was determined pre-snap. It was great design and tremendous execution.
That lead trimmed just a bit, down to 10 points now as the kick is up and away. Starting from the 5. And this will give them decent field position. The return gets out to the 30. Now here comes the New York offense. And they're already up by 2 scores, Brock, but another one here would really put this one out of reach. A handoff to Tracy. And they're going to stop him after he wiggles his way forward for 2. 8 yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down. From the 32. Into traffic. Complete. And he'll get it up near the 38-yard line before going down. 3rd and just 2 to go. Wilson looking to throw. Jones reels it in. And he's tackled with the first down yardage.
You're not going to last long in the National Football League if you don't convert a good chunk of your 3rd downs. Nice find there to continue the series.
1st and 10, ball set up at the 48. On the handoff, this is Tracy. And the defense is all over this one for a big loss.
This is one of those situations, Kate, where I watch the body language of the running back because it'd be very easy for him to raise his hands up, look to the sideline in his O-line and go, what am I supposed to do there? There was nothing, no time at all to try and escape and react. Instead, it goes backwards.
And he's going to go down right along the midfield stripe. And for the Buccaneers, it's a nickel look, 3rd down coming. From the gun, it's Wilson. Finds Hyatt. And they're going to haul him down just shy of the 40. They come through with a nice gain there. Gain of 10, 1st down.
That's what we call situational football. You spend all week working on your nickel passing game package to take advantage of 3rd downs just like that.
So we're down to the 2-minute warning here from New York. Giants nearing their 9th win of the season. They run. Here's Tracy. And he can only manage 1 yard. The defenders were at the ready to bring him down. So quickly the defense burns a timeout here. 1:57 remaining in the game. They'll come to the line here. 2nd and 9. Here's Tracy once more. And once again, he doesn't manage much before getting brought down. No surprises here. Defense quick to stop that clock. We've got 1:53 left in this game. Throwing on 3rd and long. Into the hands of Neighbors. And this is down to the 28 before the defense halts it. That timeout taken by the Buccaneers, and that's their final one. And they are quite frustrated having to call that after giving up the first. Victory formation here. Looks like they're going to take a knee on 1st down. It goes to a knee as time winds down in this one.
This is situational football at its best. There's still some time left to bleed off the clock, but the really important thing here is you've got to bleed every second of that clock that you can.
Here's Tracy. And that run very short, only getting to the 27. Moving in the right direction that time, but only 2 yards picked up, so it's 3rd and 9. They drop to a knee, and what little time we have left here is going to tick down.
Nothing left to do now, Kate, but celebrate on one side and watch on hopelessly from the other. What a hard-fought effort to get to this spot, and now you can enjoy the victory.
Nevis able to knock it through. And that pushes the lead up to 13. So the Giants come away with the win. Well, tip of the cap, Brock. You could not question that they brought some fight to the field, try to throw their best punches, But we both know an opponent playing well, a road game, a hostile crowd getting after them, just too much to overcome.
If you can't get the win on the road, and listen, more than half the time you won't, a coach at least wants to see his guys keep fighting and scratching and clawing until the final whistle. I think they at least did that. But there's going to be plenty of other areas to work on when they get to the practice field this week.